The second half of the eclipse season of 2024 is underway, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one because there's a major shift in energy. We've been having the eclipses along the Libra and Aries axis for about a year and a half or so. And this is going to be the first one where it's going to shift energy, and we're going to start having the eclipses in the Pisces and Virgo axis. So it's a big shift in energy as it affects the collective and what areas it affects in your personal astrology chart. Hi everyone, this is vickieverlie, and I am the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube. Please know that you're watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and you can find me at vickieverlie.com. Do not be fooled by imposters. So yeah, this is going to be a look at a psychic look, or a psychic or intuitive astrology look at this chart. So I do color quite a bit outside the lines. If you're not comfortable with that, then, well, maybe give it a try. But also, by the same token, if you're watching this and thinking this looks like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, I don't know astrology, hang in there, because I definitely start getting it turns more into a psychic reading as we proceed through the chart read. Yeah, so here we go. This is the first one. It's not this is a pair of eclipses. And now normally, of course, the eclipses pair up on the same axis. We've got Libra, Aries, and then this is kind of throwing a little bit of a wrench in the works, because it's this full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. And then it goes back to Libra on October 2nd. And by the way, I still do have those readings available, covering both of the last two eclipses. If you want to get involved with that, you can get it on my page. It will only be available at the end of this month. But so what happens is it's changing, and then it's going to start being Virgo, Pisces, Virgo. But there's these little tidbits of the other ones still hanging in there. We're going to have a new moon one on March 29th at Aries, so on the Aries Libra axis. And then, of course, this new moon solar eclipse. So we've got two more eclipses in the Libra Aries axis, and then it's going to be Pisces Virgo from there on out. So this is kind of a preview of what the next year to even 2 years-ish could be happening in our lives, and what area of the collective and what area of our own charts that are going to be really getting activated at this time. What's so cool or interesting, I mean, I know this chart inside and out already, because I've already started doing all these eclipse readings for everybody, so I've looked at this chart quite a bit, which normally I actually don't. I usually try to be sort of fresh when I open the chart and just give it, jump right in. But I haven't looked at it for the collective, so that's what we're going to do today. Now, I mean, some would say that it's conjuncting Saturn. I don't know. 10 degrees is a pretty big orb. The 10 degrees meaning how far apart they are. But it's definitely conjuncting Neptune. And what's so cool about that is Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So this is super powerful. People will say that this is, eclipse is like a new or full moon on steroids. Well, this is definitely a Pisces energy on steroids, okay? This is major Pisces energy, which, at its best is psychic, spiritual, creative. It's music, it's dance, it's the unconscious mind, it's the collective unconscious, it's, it's the intangible, the incommunicable, that thing that can't be said. It's energy, it's essence, it's spirit guides, it's angels, So it's some really cool, stuff. It's, it's definitely a powerful energy. But there is a downside, like with every sign, there's always a downside. So that's if the fish is swimming upward, right? So because the Pisces energy is the two fish swimming upward, but there's also the fish that swims downward, okay? And that would be like the negative expression of the Pisces energy. So the fish that swims downward, it's not, Neptune and Pisces energy is just really not quite in reality, okay? It's kind of removed from our 3D reality. So if it's swimming upward, like we just discussed, it's like you're transcending reality, and you're going into those spirit realms or meditations or creativity, all that, swimming in that ocean. But if you're going in the downward spiral, it can be escaping reality. And often people who struggle with substance abuse, alcoholism, whatever the case, they'll have not a negative place, but they may be using that Neptune in a different way. The other thing that it does on the downslide, it can be mental illness, it can be delusions, it can be secrets, things hidden, dreaming up these wild stories that aren't even, based in any kind of reality. So it's out of reality. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. It's out of reality, but in which way you're going to take it. There's two You can swim upward and you can swim downward, and that's in their personal lives, and that's also in the collective, out there. But here's the other thing, if you're not familiar with astrology. So there's 12 houses, right? So here it goes 1, 2, 3 around the wheel to the 12th house. The 12th house is the ending. It's the very last house of the zodiac. It's the realm of Neptune and Pisces, okay? And the astrology degrees themselves go up from 0. They start at 0 degrees, and then they go to 29 degrees, and then they start over at 0 degrees to 29 degrees. That's how it goes in each sign. So not only is this in the very last sign of the whole wheel here, the whole zodiac, but it's nearly, Neptune is nearly there. Neptune's going to go there. It's nearly at the very, I keep touching this, I'm going to have to move this out of the way. It's nearly at the very last degree of the very last sign of the entire zodiac. So talk about like finishing up cycles. So like I was saying in the when I do the eclipse readings for people, it's sort of a dichotomy, because in a full moon is also culmination, okay? So there's this very much, it's like, the full moon on steroids, the Pisces energy on steroids, the 12th house on steroids. It's the last dance I'm hearing. It's the last dance. What's that song? Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to feel the pain. Yeah, I think that's, I feel autumn closing in. Doesn't it say feel autumn closing in? Maybe I'm confusing that with something else. Because in the northern hemisphere, it is, autumn is closing in. Matter of fact, it's a couple days after this we have the Libra Ingress. But, there is this ending cycle happening for sure. And so it's a dichotomy because it's the ending, but yet it's a sneak peek of the new beginning of the next cycle of eclipses. So it's kind of a, so how I've been reading it really is just like, this is the energy that's coming in. So, Aries and Libra, Aries particular, let's just go with Aries to Pisces. Aries is the child, the new beginning. It's the beginning, the first sign of the zodiac. So we're going from, we've been in this childlike, like the Fool in the tarot, we've been in this fool-like, childlike innocence, let's try new things. And the downside of that, it can be, rushing in, impulsive, aggressive, But, that we've been in this very beginner phase, and now we're turning into this really deep phase. So a deep time of contemplation, for sure. You could definitely, dreams, psychic dreams, downloads, precognitive dreams, messages from your spirit guides. This is all going to be super, super prevalent during this time, no matter what sign you are. But also the fact that, again, it's this full moon, and it's a full moon eclipse. So we're wanting to be illuminated. The full moon illuminates, it culminates. It shows you the error in your childish ways. It's maybe where you have been rushing, and you can step back and say, well, wait a minute, let's slow down. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Because Aries is very single-minded. It's right there in the, it's right there. It's got go, go, go. It's not looking anywhere except exactly where it's going. Where the Pisces energy is so expanded. It's expanded consciousness. It's seeing that bigger picture. It's like being out of body. It definitely rules that too. Like, because you're not really in the 3D. It's like being out of body and just seeing the whole periphery and seeing the whole big picture. Not so much down on the ground with your eyes in front of you. So whatever we've been doing here for the last, couple years or so, as the Libra Aries stuff has been going on, now's the time to, before we put the finishing touches, because we're going to have 2 more eclipses in the next spring in the Libra Aries thing. Or like when you're working on artwork, for instance, you're working really closely and you're just going, and working on a really detailed piece of artwork. You've got to step back. You've got to step back and look at it from a bigger picture, and then you can say, oh, this needs fixing, that needs fixing, I want to change this, I want to change that. Or even, I've been doing a lot of writing here. I've been trying to get a book out by the Halloween season I'm working on. And, I'm just typing, and sometimes it's like whatever you're doing, it's like step back, but back to what I'm talking about, like, sometimes I'll just be typing, mental. I'm so in my head with this Jupiter and Gemini. I'm harnessing the energy of the Jupiter and Gemini, doing this work stuff. But, then I have to take, what I do is, what I've been doing lately, I get into a pattern of I'm working really late at night, And then I go to sleep, and I open it back up in the morning, and then I can see it with fresh eyes. I can see it. I'm not so tightly in there. I've had a rest. I've had a sleep. I've communed with spirit, or whatever we do when that's all this Pisces energy. Out of body, whatever we're doing, refreshing spiritually and all that. And then I look at it in the morning, and then I go back and I refine it a lot. But I'm getting all these facts down. I'm getting the facts down. I'm doing. That's the Aries thing. Do. And then the Pisces is look at it, reflect, commune with the muse a little bit, and even if you're not into the creative stuff, I know a lot of creative people do watch my videos, but even if you're not, you can commune with the muse on anything. Maybe you're trying to, whatever you're trying to do, maybe you've been job hunting, maybe you're scrutinizing your relationship. Scrutinize is a word that's more associated with Virgo, and the sun is in Virgo too, by the way, at the very end of Virgo, but I get that vibe on this whole thing, and Aries has that singular focus, where you're singularly focused on something, and you just go do and push, and it's like, ooh, give it some air, give it some room to breathe, step back, commune with the muse, think about it for a minute, sleep on it, give it a little bit of breathing room, and adjustments can be made that it's more in keeping with, maybe if it is a creative project, more in keeping with your original vision. Or if it's a relationship, you've lost sight of, maybe you're, fighting, because Aries can be that, ram. Maybe you've been fighting or critical of your partner, and you can step back and remember that love, because Neptune is that love energy. Remember that maybe some of these little things that bug you aren't that big of a deal in the grand picture of things. Find your way back to that love energy, because that's definitely that Neptune Pisces too. Find your way back to that love energy on whatever, what do you love about it? Because I sure don't love doing research and typing till 3 and 4 in the morning. I'll tell you that. That's not the part that I love about doing this book. But the love part is seeing that bigger vision of it, seeing that, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to do the illustrations. I get to probably start on them today or tomorrow. I got one more sweep to do over the text, and then, yay, I get to start on the illustrations, which is what I've been, the whole point of the book anyway. But then it turned into this whole thing. During the Mercury retrograde, I had to rework the whole thing. I was like, well, man, I should just get this out of the way instead of just trying to do the, the illustration, which I was wanting to do, I was so excited about, and then having to go back and use my other side of my brain for all this typing and, logical stuff. So I said, let's just get all the logical stuff out of the way, and then I can just bask in the fun, music, creating with the muse and being in this whole Neptunian energy. And so, that's what I did, and now I'm glad I did it that way. Even though during the Mercury retrograde my file disappeared, I had this whole thing, I don't know. But what happened was it was some kind of crash, but it saved it on a different space on my drive, and I was able to find it. Changed the name and everything. For days I thought it was gone, like months of work, and I was just like, you know what? I am ditching this project. There's no way I'm going back and doing all that noodling again. That's just too. It hurts my head. That's the Virgo side of this too. I'm very much more in that other side of the brain. I enjoy swimming in this water a lot more than I enjoy, and the older I get, where I don't really have to, and doing the readings more and more, and I don't really have to do, like, I'm not doing homework at school, or I don't have to mess with the Virgo part of it too much. The more I like it, and the more I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. That side of my brain maybe is getting a little bit, that muscle, I'm not working that muscle anymore, but I don't want to. I don't want to work that muscle. Working that muscle gives me a headache, okay? But there's people, that love that kind of stuff, and they thrive in it, and that's cool too. Everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their strong point. But yeah, this Pisces full moon, this eclipse, is really heavily Neptunian, heavily psychic, spiritual, creative, downloads. It would be best if you can, I know modern day life doesn't really allow this all the time, and it's on a Tuesday in the middle of the week for people who do work like regular 40-hour-a-week jobs, but if you could at least take some time to just be quiet around that. Even if it's on your lunch break, go to a park, or go sit by the water, or go just try to this is not a day to tackle this kind of stuff. Because you might mess it up and it might be wrong or whatever, you know, it's big. This is a day to figure out the meaning of your life. I mean, seriously, that's how deep and intense it is. And not only that, you know, it's sextiling that. Pluto's back at 29, so just like I explained at the beginning, there's that 29 degrees. That's critical and karmic and stuff too. And it's doing all kinds. Oh, it's sextiling also over here with the Uranus is up there at that 29 degrees. So, you know, this is these culminating things, and these are the outer planets, okay? You look at, I don't know if it would show exactly in the right way, it doesn't here, but yeah, these are the outer planets. So these are the bigger movements in the universe, and the bigger movements. It's not your everyday, you know, your day-to-day life, your patterns and routines, and going to work and coming home and making dinner, you know, and these kind of the chores you got to get done or whatever. It's like the meaning of life. It's like big, huge stuff. Now, Saturn is in Pisces. Again, I wouldn't call it a conjunction. It's 10 degrees. That's a pretty big orb. But Saturn is swimming in there too. Well, Saturn doesn't swim. Saturn's more. But here's the thing that Saturn in Pisces can do and has been doing, which is I feel like has also been really helping me tackle this project I'm doing, is because most of my stuff is not, it's not research oriented or fact based, or 3D. You know, I do channeled books. I've written channeled books, and I wrote a novel, and I wrote, you know, a tarot book. But that was all just coming straight from me. No research required, really. You know, this one there's a lot of research and stuff like that that I'm doing. But anyways, so that's what Saturn can do. Because Neptune is water, and it's just, you know, water just is everywhere. Saturn can give it some structure. Saturn can rein that in. Because, you know, we swim in the Neptune energy all the time when we're dreaming and when we're driving. A lot of times I get downloads too. You know, you just get these downloads and messages, or in the shower, in the water. You get those shower downloads for sure when you're doing dishes, being in that water flow. But, you know, you get them and they come in and they go out, and you don't really give them a lot of credence, or you're just too busy thinking about, oh, I got to get these dishes done and get the kids to bed or do whatever you got to do. So, you know, you don't give it any credence, not even credence, but you don't give it any time or attention. Well, this could be, because Spirit speaks softly, okay? They just said speak softly but carries a big stick. Yeah, that's true. I think the quote is walk softly and carry big sticks. But yeah, you could say they walk softly, but they speak softly. You know, Pluto is bringing it in to really like, hey, hello. And Pluto, we've got sort of a mutual reception. We got Pluto's in Capricorn without a mutual reception. But Saturn, who I was just talking about, that's the ruler. So that's the ruler of. So they express the same energy. Capricorn and Saturn express basically the same energy. So there's a double Saturn-Capricorn tie into this whole thing here too. So they want to get the structure and everything done, but that could be a good thing, as you could harness those thoughts, you could harness those creativity. You know, this book, I'll tell you what, I've been working on this. I started messing around with this book back in like 2016. It looks like some of my earliest files were on this. And I always wanted to put it out at Halloween. That was always the thing. And every year it's like, oh, here comes Halloween. I better get on that book, and I'll do a little bit of work on it. It's just like, So this year I just, you know, buckled down and really dug into it. And then I almost lost the whole thing. I was just like, okay, that's it. When that happened, I was just like, I'm not doing it. The universe does not want me to write this book. But I really dug in, and I think that in my case that the Saturn in Pisces has helped me tremendously, because I'm a Scorpio rising, so Saturn's over here transiting my 5th house and everything. So my creativity is, you know, being reined in, and that could be a thing. Or whatever the universe is trying to show you, whatever your spirit guides and angels are trying to show you. Look out for big time messages from your relatives and people on the other side. I mean, my dreams have been off the hook here. Last night, what did I have? How many people that were dead were in my dream last night? I had 2 different dreams, and okay, the first one, what was it? I forget who was in that one. I think my mom was in it. My ex-boyfriend and my mom, who are both gone, and then The second one was my uncle, my grandmother, and one of my friends who died. So, I mean, that veil is thin. And, you know, like that was a dream. You know, you don't have to be a psychic reader. But what I'm getting is like those messages, you know, that you see that little thing, those pennies from heaven, or those little things that they're trying to, you know, it's subtle. And a lot of times you'll just walk right by it and not see it. Well, this could be a big, you know, show you that I'm here, I'm with you. Look for those signs and symbols. Somebody, it's a flower petal or something, a flower petal blowing in the wind or something I'm picking up. You know, but that's how soft it is. Maybe that's just, you know, they want me to say it's as soft as a flower petal blowing in the wind. But I think that's really an exact message for somebody too. But anyways, it is that soft. It is that flowing. It is that subtle. There's a definite soft and subtleness to it, okay? So pay attention. Spend some time with it. Acknowledge it. Look into it. Follow those intuitive hunches. Follow that flower petal blowing in the wind. Where is it going? Follow that butterfly, you know, whatever the case may be, and those kinds of things. Because it could be really profound. I mean, seriously, and all joking aside, it could be seriously profound downloads. And like, what am I doing with my life? And there's also it's like a break in the fabric of, not time, but maybe in time, but they're showing me that. Like, this is a portal. That Pluto is for sure bringing in that portal. Because Pluto is like, hey, hello, look here. Last chance. Last chance to see. Last chance to make the big life change. Or maybe it's just the little life change. The nodes will do that too. Course correction. Last chance to make that course correction that could possibly just open up who knows what to you. You know, it's not that the whole thing with the Pluto energy, the whole thing may not be visible at this time. It may not be. But you'll get a glimpse. You get that subtle glimpse, a hint, a glimpse. You get an idea, a download, a vision, a dream, a message. And it may be life-altering in the big picture. It all starts with a single step. And there's the Aries energy again, too. I actually have notes on this because I am doing the, there's a square to Jupiter. Yeah, it's squaring up with the Jupiter too. That's another thing that's happening with the actual, it's making a square to Jupiter here, yeah. So again, squares want you to turn the corner. You know, you're going along and you got to turn right or turn left for that square. It alters your path for sure. But again, just like I was picking up intuitively, the Jupiter could be beautiful. It could be wonderful. It could be marvelous. Wonderful, marvelous. Yeah, it could be just, you know, really great. And again, because it's in Gemini, it's a message. It's a message that the cognitive mind is able to see or interpret or translate from the great cosmic beyond. That's what my guys just said. Ooh, I like that one. Oh, band name. Oh, that's so a band name. Hold on, I've got to put that on my band name list. Sorry, guys. Hang on just for 1 second. Don't forget, I'm already forgetting it. The great cosmic beyond. The great cosmic beyond. Here it is, band names. Hold on. Band names. The great cosmic beyond. I like that. That's a good one. Anyways. Yeah, so messages from the great cosmic beyond, pretty intense. Well, the other thing that's going on is Mars in Cancer here is squaring up with the nodes. So talk again about, you know, and then there's this opposition with Ceres. I didn't have that in there, but Ceres is in there too. But there's the whole Mars square the nodes, you know. It could show you, well, there's two ways, I would interpret this two different ways. So it could show you where your Mars, just like I was talking about before, and it's Aries. Aries is the ruler, Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it's that drive. You know, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to push until I make it happen. That's an admirable trait that's needed in a lot of phases of life, that drive and that ambition. But if you're just ram up against the wall and you really have to turn another way, this could make you aware of that. You know, this could definitely make you aware of that something is just like, hey, listen, How long are you going to beat your head up against the wall until you're going to go in another direction? And for some people, I am picking up this is with relationships. Others may have this expanded consciousness experience with relationships, because after all, look at all this Venus and Libra, all this this Libra stuff over here, relationship stuff, you know. South Node, these are karmic relationships sometimes that need to be let go. And Lilith on the South Node, you know, it could be really, Lilith and Mars to me have a similar vibe, you know. They're very much like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I don't give a crap what you think, you know. I'm going to, you know, I will do what I'm going to do. They're very strong-willed, let's put it that way. So some of you, it could be, you know, we just can't get along. And you may have that. But others you may have, does that thing really bother me that much? And can we transcend it? So this is going to be an important time for people in relationships too. You know, romantic and otherwise. But that square to the Mars could be like that. But also, if you do get a download and you do get this big illumination and the clouds part and the angels sing and you get the big awakening, Mars is going to give you that energy to start say, okay, man, I'm in. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it 100%. I'm ready to get to work on it. Mars can give you that initiative, or even if you need to get untangled from another situation on whatever level, personal, whatever it might be. Sometimes you see the way to go, but then you have, and the older you get, the more stuff you have to untangle. You know, you may be, or there's all kinds of ways we're entangled with people, and that's what the nodes are all about too, with the karmic stuff. So the nodes are very much the karmic and your past life. That's, if you're interested in my readings, the soul readings, we look at a lot at the nodes and a few other things. That looks into your past life and stuff. But the eclipse readings is just these events in your chart and how they will pan out. And we do both of them too. It's not just the this one, it's the next one. Because the next chart read is going to be the second one. That's going to be the new moon eclipse in Aries. I mean, Libra, excuse me. On October 2nd. So this is a culmination. This is a tying up of loose ends. You know, there is always that saying, you know, something could be eclipsed out of your life. Usually that is going to, the something that's going to be eclipsed out of your life does fall on the full moon lunar eclipses, which is what this is. So often these full moon lunar eclipses, something could be eclipsed out of your life. I mean, there's a small chance with Pisces, maybe you didn't see it coming, you know, with the Uranus, maybe it's shocking, but, you know, I think for most, it's going to come from, well, I mean, you don't have to let it get to that point. If you see it on your own and you start taking steps on your own to turn these corners and make these big changes. And it's also another thing about the Pisces energy, it's usually going to be this change from within. And that's where it all starts at, you know. It starts from within before it can appear in the outer world. Now Saturn being in Pisces is helping speed up the process from without to within, from the spiritual into the physical realm of being. You know, Saturn is very much in the physical realm of being. So there is that, you know. But there's also, you know, there's a subtle, again, this subtle softness to it. Now this whole Lilith South Node thing is kind of grabbing me real quick. Let's look into that, because this could be some karmic stuff that may, I'm getting like turn sour. You know, things could be turning, something could be turning sour, and you may be too stubborn. Don't be too stubborn to admit it, especially surrounding Libra things and like partnerships and things like that. You know, maybe it's something is just, you know, you're just not vibing anymore. You're just not vibing anymore, and or are you just being too, you know, kind of not selfish, but too stuck in your ways? Do you need to compromise more? Can you compromise more, or is it the end of the road? Because again, you know, the end of that road is going to be, you know, 29 degrees, Pisces. It's going to be the end of the road for a lot of things. But again, I feel for most, or the best way to use this energy is to go willingly, is to seek it out willingly, is to try to see things from that bigger picture, to ask for a dream or ask for a message, and be willing to interact with the energy so it doesn't sneak up and bite you in the butt, so that you can kind of get a jump or get a handle on it, I guess you could say. All right, everybody. Well, this is the reading. There's a lot. I mean, this is a deep, deep time. This is going to be intense. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I hope it's going to be a good vibes. It's close to the equinox, too. I may do a Libra Ingress. Since I'm not offering the Libra Ingress reading, I may do a Libra Ingress chart read. We'll see. I don't know if I'll have time to get to it, but I may. But that's also a big transitionary time. So it's a couple days off. So this third week of September is going to be a doozy. Okay, I've been using that word a lot lately. It's going to be a doozy. And if you want me to take a look at how these eclipses might affect you, and it's going to be, the reading is for both of them. I do have that reading available. It's for both this one and the October 2nd one. Covers both of the energies. We do a tri-wheel. We put your chart, this one, and then the October one, all three together. You could order that on my website. And I have other readings available too. And if you're more into the deep esoteric past life stuff, I do have those soul readings also, and those are available on my chart, my page, vickieverlie.com. So don't be fooled by imposters. And if you enjoy my content, please do hit the like and subscribe. There's so many trolls out there, and I've been losing subscribers. If you think you're subscribed, please check to make sure. Apparently, that some people are getting unsubscribed. There's all kinds of drama going on in YouTube land. So I'd appreciate it if you would, check on that. And if you haven't hit the subscribe, it costs you nothing, and I would appreciate that as well. So remember, you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon, lunar eclipse in Pisces, and we'll talk again soon.